Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I am Joey Francis, your life, love, and relationship coach. Thank you so much for joining me. 30 episodes. I know it's like a little bit of a sidetrack from starting off the episode as I normally do, but 30 episodes, that's 30 weeks. And don't get me wrong, I understand that 30 isn't a lot in the grand scheme of things. Grand scheme of things. Sorry. But here we are. And I mean, I think it's quite the accomplishment. It's 30 weeks, definitely more than half a year of me doing this. And I don't even know how many minutes that I've recorded. But nonetheless, I just want to say thank you to everyone who has been here from the beginning, as well as all of you that join me now. And I like to consider you all as friends. And me saying it that way means that that's what the episode is about this week, friendship. And I mean, I know that I've sort of tackled the idea of men and women being friends and if they can be friends. I suggest you go listen to that because, that is very relevant. But nonetheless, just friendship in general and making and finding and being friends as we age, as we get older. As far as I can tell, there is an issue with friendship as we get older. We hold, like the people that we've sort of carried with us in our life, we hold them to a different standard than new people. And from the things I've heard and from what I've seen is that when we do make new friends, as rare as it is as adults, because unfortunately, it is rare that adults don't make new friends. But nonetheless, as we make new friends, we hold them to a different standard than we would with our childhood friends or our high school friends or our college friends or just friends that we've met, 10, 15, 20 years ago. And I think it's unfortunate because that standard essentially ruins any and all possibilities of a new friendship. Because a lot of us forget that the other people are also human beings. They also have lives and priorities. And you and them have just started creating this relationship. And it has to be like nurtured in a sort of way. And maybe if you're single and you're making new friends, you're sort of putting the same like standards as if it was someone you're planning on dating. And maybe you don't differentiate between the two. Because the thing is that when it's just about friendship, it's more of like when it's convenient because, we bonded over something specific, right? And only that thing. And it doesn't necessarily, like our friendship isn't necessarily going to carry past that. It could, depending on who the person is and how open they are and how open you are. But nonetheless, generally speaking, the friendship is like sort of stuck in that very niche area of where the two of you met. And this is actually what I tell people, people that are looking to make new friends. And if you don't think it happens, it does happen because I was actually contacted a few weeks back and this woman who came here from another country, she was only here for, I think she said 7 or 8 months. And I don't remember exactly why she came here or the reasons behind it, and that's irrelevant anyways. But she came here and she doesn't know very many people and she doesn't have a lot of friends here. And she legitimately asked me, how can I change this? How can I make friends? I'm having a hard time meeting new people. And she's also single, and the whole idea of contacting me was about dating specifically. But then it sort of like transitioned into her asking me this question about, making and finding new friends. And essentially I told her, hey, listen, you know what? It's not as hard as you think it is, first of all. This is sort of like, a human and a spider type of situation where, despite the spider being like very small, like this big, human beings are scared of them, right? Because it's like, oh my God, the spiders are going to kill me. And it's like, no, you can literally just smack it and it's going to die. So, and I'm obviously not talking about tarantulas and that shit. And I apologize for anybody with arachnophobia that I'm like freaking out. But anyways, it's sort of that same perception where, we're really scared about talking to other people and being open because, we want to be liked and we don't want to be rejected because we have these things in us from like childhood. And I get it. It's fine. But the funny thing is, despite what you see online, despite what people will tell you, the majority of people in the world are actually nice. And granted, I do understand because of like, the type of the year that it is and the type of people that are out there and everybody's suspicious of everything. If you just be nice to people, people will generally be nice to you. And again, this is where communication comes into key, and as well as being open and honest. So as I was telling this to this woman, and I said, is there things that you like to do? Are there places you like to go? And if so, go to those places and do the things you like to do. And while you're doing the things you like to do at the places you like to go, talk to other people there, because clearly you have something in common right off the bat. We're essentially building things on common ground. And this is exactly the same advice, believe it or not, that I would tell single people. That, I've been asked, where do I find all like the single women? Where do I find the single men? And it's like, well, the thing is, they're literally everywhere. They're living their life just as you are. They're going to a coffee shop and getting coffee. They're going to the supermarket to buy groceries. They're going to clothing stores and bookstores. They're going to watch movies and hang out with their friends and this, that, and the other. So rather than specifically going out to search for said people, go do the things that you enjoy doing. And while you're there, talk to other people doing those things. And believe it or not, you might find out, oh my God, that person's single. Hey, so am I. That's an interesting thing. Two single people in a place doing the same thing that we both enjoy. Common ground. You have something to build upon. And again, that works either looking for friendship and looking for a significant other. Obviously, we're talking about friendship, because the thing is that we might put, again, like I said, that same pressure as if it was a dating relationship where it's like, I want to talk to this person somewhat daily. I want to get to know them. I want to go out with them. I want to get deeper. And it's like, but wait a minute. Hold on a second. That's not what this relationship is. We're talking about friendship. And within friendship, it's more, hey, I'm going to, the tennis club to go play tennis or paddle. I'm going to go to the paddle club to play paddle. And, you want to come? Do you want to play? And that's where things start. Because then afterwards you could say, hey, listen, that was a great workout. That was a great, even at the gym. And I know people don't like meeting other people at the gym, but the fact of the matter is it's a place where people get together to do the same thing. So there's nothing wrong with approaching someone, being respectful, not bothering them, essentially, right? And just talking. And again, if it's a same sex thing, it tends to be a lot easier and understandable, especially if you are polite and nice and not interrupting somebody. They're busy doing their thing. Let them do their thing. Afterwards, be like, hey, I noticed I see you around here. I noticed you doing like similar workouts as me. Would you like to work out sometime? So that we both have a spotter and blah, 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 blah. And then there you go. You created a friendship just like that. And then, maybe you guys get on the treadmill together, and then you start chit-chatting about your lives outside of the gym. And maybe you have other things in common. And then you'd be like, hey, listen, you like to bike. So do I. Like, maybe we should we should go out sometime and bike. And that's it. That's how easy it is to create new friendships, right? Now, when I was saying about that pressure that we put on people, because again, the whole idea of dating thing versus a friendship thing, it's just a friendship. That's all that it is. You don't necessarily need to talk to them every day. You don't even necessarily need to talk to them every week. You know what I mean? It's more a matter of, you know, you go to a place, they're there, you see them, you can be very polite and be like, hey, what's up? And that's it. Or you can ask them about going further into it, essentially, further into being friends. And I know it sounds extremely cheesy, but you can literally say like, hey, like, you know, I'd like to be your friend. And I know it's ridiculous. But the thing is that we're not doing these things. And because of that, we're not having these types of relationships. Again, understanding that it's just a friendship and that people have lives and priorities, and they don't necessarily want you to be part of that other part of their life or priorities. You know, they want to keep that private from you because you're a new person into their life. And I think that's like the biggest take from all of this, is that even when we do meet people, it either goes one way, as in we keep them as acquaintances, you know, and it's just someone that I see around in the same place and maybe like wave to them or whatever. Or it's like the other way, where we go so deep into it that it's like, hey, like, why are you ignoring me? Why aren't you paying attention to me? Why aren't you messaging me? Why aren't you doing this? Or why aren't you doing that? And it's like, whoa, we got to find a happy medium here. You know, we have to let people live their lives and also give them a chance to socialize with us, and vice versa. They need to give us a chance to live our lives, as well as, you know, create a time and place where we can socialize together. And that's basically it. And funny enough, going back to that girl that I said, you know, go to the places where you like to go and do the things you like to do. And in those situations, you know, just be open and honest and just talk to people. And the thing is, hey, that's all you need to say. It's just, hey, how's it going? That's it. And usually by someone's response, you will know whether or not they're open to converse further. Hey, I've seen you around here. Hey, how's it going? And that's it. And if somebody's like, hey, and then turns their head, well, clearly they're not interested. And you just move on, you know? This doesn't need to be as tough as a selection process as it is when it comes to someone you're dating. But at the same time, you obviously don't want to, you know, make friends with someone that's a narcissist or someone that's going to use you or take advantage of you, of all these things. Anyways, I digress. Back to that girl. So we have that conversation. And I said to her, you know, wherever you are and wherever you find yourself, just start talking to people randomly and be polite and be nice. And you will never know what could come of it. Right? It's essentially like a whole mindset. And the next day, she literally told me, as she was going home from the supermarket, sitting on, I think it was the train or the bus, regardless, her and the girl next to her just started chatting. And they were talking. I think they both were shopping, or, you know, grocery shopping or something along the lines. And they just started up a conversation. And then within that conversation, she took the initiative and said like, hey, like, you know, this was cool. Like, do you want to grab a drink sometime? And the other girl was like, yeah, let's do that. And I shit you not, within, I don't know, 20 minutes, half an hour of this happening, she was calling me like so excited, like a kid on Christmas morning, you know, like, oh my God, I made a friend. And it's like, yeah, because it's literally that easy. Like, all you have to do is talk to someone. And I mean, you never know what situations or what places other people are in their life, you know, but at the end of the day, making new friends, even acquaintances for that matter, is never a bad thing, because you have no idea who they are. And then getting to know them, you might find out that, you know, they're a plumber or an electrician or an esthetician or something along the lines that might be useful to you. And now you have someone to do it with. And you're going to do it anyway. So like, why wouldn't you give the money to someone you know and who will benefit from it? Right? myself specifically, I am part of a few car clubs, so to speak. Now, granted, one of them is a BMW club, and it pains me to say this, but a lot of BMW owners, and I mean, you already know, for those who know, BMW owners are usually assholes. And funny enough, going to like the car meets for this BMW club, it's really no different. There's going to be guys there who are really cool and open and like want to talk to you and want to tell you about their car and are, you know, want to hear you like hear about your car and so forth and so on. And like really, you know, but there's a lot of people there that are just part of like their little cliques and they don't want any outsiders. And you know what? Granted, that's fine. That's cool. That's fine. You know, go do your own thing. But like the way that I see it is like you're doing like a car club thing, you know, like you go to a Cars and Coffee. You're essentially there to meet like-minded people doing like-minded things. And for you to like be there and then be rude to people, you know, asking you questions about your car and I've literally seen this, you know, where like a dad will take his kids, his son, to, you know, to get his son into cars. And then, you know, the kid's looking at a car or whatever. And, you know, the guy who owns the cars will be like, hey, you make sure that your kid doesn't touch my car. And it's like, dude, relax. It's a car. It's a kid, you know, like you're making it not fun. You're making it not fun for the dad. You're making it not fun for the kid. You're not, you know, like building this community. You're being an asshole. I can't stand that. Funny enough, there's another group of guys that I see whenever they do throw in events, and it's like a cigar club, so to speak. And they do car meets. And I'm not a smoker. I'm there because of other reasons, you know, other people that I know and support. But when they do car meets, I tend to go. And even though the majority of guys there are there because of their love of cigars and their, you know, common cigar smoking habits, so to speak, and I go, and honestly, these guys are the nicest people. Okay. You see guys there with very inexpensive cars, like older Mustangs and even like Hondas and stuff like that. You see guys there with Lamborghinis and Ferraris and things like that. And it doesn't matter which one you talk to. They are all open and honest and, you know, just fun to be around and fun to talk to and very polite and nice. And see, like, that's the way that I like to see things. You know, when it comes to dating, you know, we think about all the things we want in another person. And, you know, one of the pieces of advice I give, as well as you'll hear all over the internet, is like when you figure out what you want in another person, sort of become that, right? Like, especially if it's things with like honesty and being open and being a good communicator, it's become that. And the same thing coincides when, you know, you're making friends and being around these people. You obviously want a community that's open for new people to join and to grow. Be the good person. Be the example, right? Don't be like the asshole, like BMW owners. Even though I own a BMW, and I know a lot of people that do own BMWs too, and you know they're really nice people, but some of them, oh my god, I don't even remember where I was going with this. Yeah, just be good, be nice, be friendly. And it's the same thing as that when someone approaches you, I know, God forbid, somebody approaches you, think with good intentions. Like, this person wants to talk to me for a reason. What's the reason? Let's find out, right? But think of it as like a good intention. Like, this person wants to be my friend. This person wants to know something about me, as opposed to those who, you know, carry around such hurt and pain. And every time someone approaches them, they're like, oh, this person's out to get me. This person's trying to take advantage of me. Because more times than not, that's not the case. The world is literally full of good and nice people. And I get it. We see online with social media, like all the violence that happens and all the crime that happens, and, you know, how people are such assholes and how people are going to try to take advantage of you in one way or another. The fact of the matter is, there are more good people in this world than there are that are bad. And that's it. Because if there weren't, if this world was legitimately full of more criminals and more violent people and more assholes trying to take advantage of you, it would be in complete and utter chaos. And I know sometimes, again, you're looking at social media and you're looking at the news and you're thinking, it is complete and utter chaos. And it's like, no, it's not. It's not complete and utter chaos. Yes, bad shit happens. It does, most definitely. But for the most part, for the most of us, we get up, we get dressed, we go to work, we come home, and nothing bad happens more times than not, right? In fact, in some of our lives, we never even hear or see, like, one-to-one anything bad that happens. And for the world to be that way, it just means that there are more good people than there are bad. And for that reason, it should be an easier thing to do to make friends. We need to keep a positive attitude. We need to be nice. We need to do better and not assume that someone is out to get you. Listen, if somebody's out to get you, you will find out very quickly. Because they're going to be trying to get you. I mean, it's not rocket science. And I know for some people it might be hard to see, but nonetheless, you will see it. So rather than going into anything with bad intentions or thinking that someone's out to get you, because again, connecting this with the whole idea of friendship, if somebody new comes and talks to you and you have this bad attitude inside your head, what are the chances that you're going to make a friend? Zero, none. Because you're already suspecting of, what do they want from me? Why are they talking to me? Who is this? Who do you know? And you're going into detective mode. Like, wait a minute. Like, this person was just here doing the same thing I am, and they're interested in talking to me. Maybe it's about, again, using the gym as an example, because I know a shit ton of people go to gyms, right? Maybe they're just curious about a workout that I was doing. Maybe they need a spot. It doesn't always have to be something bad, right? Don't let the ideas of the news and social media poison your mind. Don't do it, okay? It is literally designed for your eyeballs to keep you engaged. And as human beings, this is literally in my book, and I say literally a lot too. And I don't know, have I been doing good with I think I have been today. Anyways, it is literally designed to get your attention. And as human beings throughout history, good things, good news doesn't grab our attentions. I'm sorry. What grabs our attention is controversy and danger. And that's an evolutionary trait within human beings, because we are always looking out for danger. And I mean controversy because it's controversial, right? And when we see these things, it attracts our attention, because I need to know whether it's safe for me to leave my house. I need to know whether it's safe for me to go to the gym, or to go to the movies, or to go to the mall, or to go here, or to go there. I need to know these things. Because if it's not, then I'm not going. And every time that we see that something happens, crimes, people getting taken advantage of, whatever the case is, our eyeballs are directed right to it. And we pay attention to it because we think that we're subconsciously doing it because we think that it's going to help us survive. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're all doing. We're all just trying to survive. I'm just trying to survive while being happy. And I hope that you are too. So rather than being a part of that and giving in to that type of stuff, be the opposite. Lead by example. Be the good person. Be polite. Be honest. Talk to people. Show that being friendly is worthwhile. It's these values that, if we remind ourselves, will bring us back into a better society. Because if we're all friends, and I know it's so cheesy to talk about, but if we're all friends, if we all have great groups of friends, we are all less likely to do bad shit. It's like literally proven. There's a theory, the broken window theory. And that theory is that good people can do bad things. As in, you walk by a building that looks run down and abandoned. You could pick up a rock and throw it at a window and break a window, and it wouldn't bother you because it's an abandoned building. You're thinking, and whatever, nobody gives a shit. And like, that's the thing. When nobody gives a shit, we all start to ignore. So start giving a shit. And I know this is sort of a wild tangent from being friends, but start giving a shit about other people. Again, you don't have to necessarily be friends with everybody. You don't have to date everybody, but it's just a matter of like being polite and smiling at people. How about that one? Just give a shit. Give a shit about society. And then you'll make more friends. We'll all be friends at the end of the day. And the world will just be a better place. That easy. It really is that easy. Seriously, it's that easy. Because good people won't do bad things if it all looks good. Simple as that. Anyways, I think I went off a little wild, a little too much, but nonetheless, here we are. Remember, give people the benefit of the doubt when it comes to friendship, for the most part. And what I mean by that is like, understand that they have a life. Understand that they're not necessarily at your beck and call. And I know because there are some people out there that may not have a lot of friends. And then when they get one, they like latch on and become annoying. Don't be that person either. Understand that people have lives. People have families, especially as we get older. People have families. They have kids. They have, other responsibilities, other priorities. And you're not necessarily going to be one of them. And you might not be one of them for a very, very, very long time, if at all. But that doesn't mean that you can't be friends with them. Right? And the thing is that if you find yourself feeling lonely or alone, I mean, aside from getting help, if you need it, I love to say that, because if you need help, go get help. If you need someone to talk to me. You can send me an email. I'm down, Oh, I'm doing the now. Anyways, I'm down to talk to you if you need someone to talk to. But the thing is, there's a lot of people out there in the world. And if you open up, and I know for some people it's going to be hard because we're introverted, even though that's not what it technically means. You have to open up. And again, just do it at places that you enjoy going to, or hobbies that you enjoy doing. So at least you have something in common. And then if you like doing more than one thing, go to more than one place and make friends. So you're not alone anymore, or you're not lonely anymore. And that's it. It's just give people the space that they need to be your friend. And if somebody's not giving you the space you need to be your friend, don't yell at them. Don't call them a freak. Don't push them away necessarily. Just explain to them like, hey, listen, I do enjoy spending time with you, and I do enjoy talking to you, but I just need to remind you that, I've only known you for so long, and I have other priorities and responsibilities that I need to attend to. So I'm just attending to them. And then when I have time for you, we'll do something together. And that's it. And if that doesn't work for you, no problem. I'm sure there's somebody else out there that you can be friends with. And I know, again, it sounds like a silly conversation to have with someone, but the thing is, so many of us rather not say nothing, not have friends, not make friends, and then just complain about it and think, oh my God, it's so hard for adults to make friends and be friends with people. And it's like, it is, but that's because you're making it hard. Because if you just go out into the world and start talking to people, eventually you're going to find someone who's interesting and who's interested in you, and you guys can be friends. Like, I don't know how else to put it. How do you think kids do it? How do you think kids do it? They go to school, right? They're in the same place doing the same thing. They have a common base. We're in grade 6 together. We're learning English and math and whatever together being the optimum word. There was I forgot who it was, but they were telling a story about how they essentially made a new friend. Oh, it was this guy. He's an automotive journalist, Jason. It was a podcast that I was listening to. His name Jason Camara, I think. And the funny thing is, he was from a small town, and in the school, there's like one school because the town had, I don't know, he said 5, 6, 8,000 people, whatever the case is. And so when someone came to the town and came to the school, they were new. They were always going to be the new kid. And he was in like grade 7 or 8 or whatever. And the new kid came in, and I don't remember, they had an altercation of some sort, bumped into each other, whatever, and then verbally had it out saying like, oh, okay, well, at the end of the day, we're going to fight. I'm going to fight you. We're going to fight. And throughout the day, they ended up being in the same class together, being forced to sit beside each other. And he pulled out a car magazine and put it on the desk. And then the kid that he was supposed to fight looks and be like, oh my God, you're into cars too? And he's like, yeah. And apparently they've been friends ever since. And this guy's like old now, right? So he's been friends with this guy from the time that they were in like the 7th grade together till now. And he's like, I don't know, 50 something maybe. So it just goes to show you, if you have something in common with somebody, that is a base to grow your friendship. Don't be an ass. Don't be an ass about it. I think I made my point. I hope that you all out there listening to this, I hope you're not bored and you actually made it to the end and this was interesting for you. Just be nice to people. Make new friends. And maybe you're somebody that has a lot of friends, which is fantastic. That's great. But maybe you might come across someone who doesn't and who might benefit from getting to know you. And again, it doesn't necessarily need to take a lot of time. It really doesn't. So that's all I have to say for this week. I honestly really, really, really appreciate all of you. And again, if you are someone that needs someone to talk to, feel free to talk to me. And you can find me at joeyfrancis.com. That's joeyfrances.com. And there you can see my services. You can also send me an email. So again, if you need to talk, you can send me an email there, as well as purchase my books, which have some similar themes and interesting insights like I mentioned today. So thank you so much for listening. 30 episodes. Wow. Crazy. 22 more to go for the year. Thank you so much for listening. And I'm going to tell you this week, go out into the world and don't be an asshole. That's my message for you this week. Go out into the world and don't be an asshole. Until next time.